It's Wednesday, the 16th of November. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is your Frontier opening bell. Again, if you look at the markets where we finished off on Tuesday, a bit mixed with the Nigerian market, down by 0.02%. A bit of a balancing between Lafarge Africa, which is the second largest cement maker on the Nigerian Exchange Limited, and a few banking names such as Gitco balancing each other. The insurance index fell the most on Tuesday, 1.1%. The BRVM finished off on Monday. Actually, the figure you're looking at right now on the screen was that of a Monday. Tuesday was the market close in Abidjan on the BRVM. It was called a peace day. It's a holiday in Côte d'Ivoire, so the market was closed for the day. Today, the market will reopen for the 8 French-speaking countries within West Africa that put their stocks in one single exchange called the BRVM in the Ivorian financial and economic capital. The EGX continued its upward trajectory since the start of the week by 91 basis points. The Nairobi Bourse went up by 0.02, just a few notches there on the NSE All-Share Index, still below the 130 reading. And then you have the GSE up by 0.24%. Just at the doorstep of 73,000 level. And we'll see what happens today for the trading day on that All-Share Index, the biggest exchange on the African continent. So that takes me straight to some of the biggest stories within the continent and straight to East Africa, where Kenya is looking at a deal that would land a direct flight between Nairobi and Tokyo. That is in talks right now as Kenya Airways begin to look at ways to revive the national airline, which includes, of course, selling down some of the shares that the government is holding and a few other assets as well, and investors. The whole package is still being discussed as we have a different conversation ongoing between Kenya and South Africa to form a new national airline that will be for the continent. And our International Finance Corporation, which is the private sector lending arm of the IFC, of the World Bank, has okayed about $100 million, just roughly about that figure, in loans to Kenya as Diamond Trust Bank, while Tanzania is probing what happened to its gold that was seized in India. That's worth about 3.47 billion US dollars. That is quite hefty, if you ask me. For now, Tanzania wouldn't let that go. So, under the President Suluhu's administration, that is now being widely investigated. Bill Gates, the co-founder of the Bill and Melinda Gates and the founder of Microsoft, is currently has been in Kenya for strategic business meetings, including other engagements. In the meantime, Kenya's energy pricing agency, the EPRA, says it's cut fuel prices by 1 shilling. But I'm going to ask my technical director in Nairobi how that works out in terms of what goes at the pump station. But of course, we can use we can use any amount whatever we can get right now. Guys, everybody's hard up somewhere on the side of inflation, rising cost of living, energy costs, and what have you. So you give me a pound, I'm going to take it off the floor. Let's go to the West African marketplace, look at some of the headlines, because the Nigerian authorities are looking very closely at the issue of energy. So the first floating liquefied natural gas deal will be signed today by UTM Offshore in partnership with about 3 engineering organizations. The whole project is being financed and supported by the Afrexim Bank, which is the Africa Export-Import Bank. That deal is expected to be signed today in London. We're going to give you the details as soon as we get it. Shelter Afrique, is 1.6 billion shillings in loan facility for Nigeria's housing project, while Saipem has won $800 million in offshore deals in Middle East and in West Africa. In the meantime, U.S. Exim Bank President Rita Lewis has ended her 2 weeks engagement on the African continent. She visited Rwanda, she went to Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh. She was at COP27, and of course she had meetings in Ivorian capital, Ivorian financial capital, Abidjan as well. So the 2 weeks had ended. The first ever such of a visit by the president and chairman of the U.S. Export-Import Bank. Quite a robust engagement. About $200 million MOU was signed with the folks in Cote d'Ivoire. So that is a very good one for Africa, by the way. Let's take it a bit further and talk about the Southern Africa space. We got to see a couple of earnings coming through from the Southern African market, from Vodacom, from Shoprite, as well as Telkom, reporting different numbers and giving out to what happens going forward. But the big problem is still with Eskom. The head of the generation unit left his job yesterday, and now there's not been a replacement, technically speaking, for that, as the level of outages, load shedding continue in Africa's most advanced economy. That is one big issue to deal with. Eskom's problems are not over yet. In the meantime, Huawei is unveiling a multi-million-dollar technology park to be built in Angola, Africa's leading oil producer right now. And that will be a major game changer for Angola, which has beaten Nigeria as the continent's largest oil producer. Vodacom's headline earnings spoke about dipped 9.5% for the period under review ended September, because the tech company, or the telco, said he's lost some money on the consortium with Safaricom, which bidded for Safaricom Ethiopia, which was recently launched by Safaricom. Then you've got the issue of power cuts issues in South Africa as well. So those two major problems headlined the earnings that's currently reported by Vodacom. Shoprite first quarter sales up 18.6%. Good news for Shoprite, because South Africans are binging on discounts at the stores where Shoprite is located, and they're coming back full out of the COVID-19 pandemic. The government of President Cyril Ramaphosa is still giving meal tickets, as it were, to South Africans that fall under the category of such of the scheme. So folks are going out and looking for discounts, and they're spending, and that's good news for Shoprite. Italian energy giant Eni and Sinopec, which is the energy giant from China, they are bidding for Mozambique acreage. The Mozambican president 2 days ago made an announcement that the first shipment of LNG, liquefied natural gas, has left the country's corridor and is now on its way to Europe. Congratulations to Mozambique. Let's add a few more to the news box this morning as we go on towards the end of the show, looking at North Africa. And of course, it's all still energy, with Egypt still being the proud host of the COP27 UN Climate Summit, which will be coming to an end at the weekend. It's been 2 weeks of the second week of very intense negotiations. In the meantime, Vodacom is planning to roll out Alibaba super app in the Egyptian market. It's going to be a major entry for Vodacom in North Africa's biggest economy. And SDX Energy says it's announcing the opening of 2 gas production wells in Morocco, while Royal Air Maroc says it's expanding its operations within the Tunisian market. The Taqa Morocco says it's posted a strong 78% surge in its consolidated turnover for the first half of the year, while Tunisia's first floating solar station is now in operation. We say congratulations for that in Morocco. Thank you, everyone, for watching the show this morning. I am Bosin Amofaye. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.